Sometimes the best opportunities in this league hide in plain sight. While everyone's obsessing over the same recycled names, the same predictable scenarios, there's a situation unfolding right now that could completely change the trajectory of our season. And it's happening for reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with basketball talent. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where you get the real story behind every move, every rumor, and every decision that affects our purple and gold. I'm here to give you the inside perspective, the analysis that goes deeper than the surface level takes. And today, we need to talk about an opportunity that's staring us right in the face. The NBA landscape shifts fastest in the days leading up to the trade deadline. Teams make decisions that alter championships. Front offices panic, others see clearly. And right now, across the country in Philadelphia, there's a financial problem that could become our solution. I'm not talking about some desperate team blowing it all up. I'm talking about a legitimate contender making a difficult choice between their wallet and their roster. And when teams make those choices, players become available who shouldn't be available. Let me take you inside what's happening with the 76ers right now. They're $7 million over the luxury tax threshold. For some organizations, that's just the cost of doing business. For Philadelphia's ownership, based on everything we've seen from them historically, that's a problem they're going to solve. They've done it before. They'll do it again. And when they do, someone talented is going to be looking for a new home. But here's what makes this situation even more interesting. They're not just worried about the luxury tax itself. They're also about $1 million away from hitting the first apron, which comes with a whole different set of penalties and restrictions. Teams that cross that threshold face limitations on their ability to aggregate salaries in trades, restrictions on signing bought-out players, and reduced flexibility in future roster construction. Philadelphia's front office is looking at all of these factors and realizing they need to act. The question isn't whether they'll make a move. The question is which player they'll decide they can afford to part with. There are two names that keep coming up in conversations around the league. Andre Drummond, their backup center, is one option. At 32 years old, Drummond has been solid as Joel Embiid's primary backup, averaging 7.1 points and 9 rebounds per game. But moving him creates another problem because Philadelphia would then be in the market for another backup center, and finding quality big men mid-season isn't easy. They could rely more on rookie Johnny Broome or two-way player Dominic Barlow, but that's asking a lot from inexperienced players on a team trying to contend in the Eastern Conference. The other name is far more interesting to us. The other name is someone who could walk into our rotation tomorrow and immediately make us better on both ends of the floor. Someone who's having arguably the best shooting season of his career. Someone who brings exactly what we've been missing all year long. Before I tell you who I'm talking about, let me describe what the Lakers need right now. We need perimeter shooting that doesn't disappear in big games. We need wing defense that can handle the elite scorers in this conference. We need someone with size and athleticism who doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. We need a veteran who understands playoff basketball and won't crumble under pressure. We need someone who can step into our system without requiring months of adjustment. Every single one of those needs is critical if we're serious about competing for a championship this season. LeBron James is 41 years old and still performing at an elite level, but we can't waste another year of this window. Anthony Davis is having an MVP-caliber season when healthy, putting up numbers that remind everyone why he's one of the most dominant big men in the league. But we've seen this story before. We've seen great individual performances fall short because the supporting cast didn't have quite enough firepower. We've seen opposing defenses load up on our stars because they don't respect our perimeter shooting. We've seen close games slip away because we couldn't get one more stop on defense. This isn't about panic. This isn't about blowing up what we've built. This is about recognizing that we're one piece away from being legitimately scary. And that piece might be available because Philadelphia's ownership doesn't want to pay the luxury tax bill. Let that sink in for a second. A contending team in the East might move a productive rotation player purely for financial reasons. That's the kind of market inefficiency that smart front offices exploit. Kelly Oubre Jr. is averaging 14.6 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 1.2 steals per game this season. But those numbers only tell part of the story. The context matters. He's shooting 38% from three-point range, which is a massive jump from his career average and represents exactly the kind of efficiency we need. He's not just a spot-up shooter either. He can create his own shot off the dribble. He can attack closeouts. He can punish defenses that help too aggressively on penetration. At 6'7", with a 7-foot wingspan, he's got the physical tools that NBA wings need in today's game. What makes Oubre particularly valuable is his versatility on offense. He's comfortable playing in transition, which is critical for a Lakers team that wants to push the pace when opportunities arise. He can execute in half-court sets, whether that's coming off pin-downs for catch-and-shoot opportunities or attacking in isolation situations when the shot clock is winding down. He's averaged 14.6 points on relatively efficient shooting splits, and he's done it while being Philadelphia's third or fourth offensive option most nights. Imagine what those numbers could look like playing alongside LeBron and AD, where defenses can't afford to focus on him the way they might on other teams. Philadelphia has relied on him heavily when Paul George has been out, which has been often this season. He's started games, he's closed games, he's been trusted in crucial moments against elite competition. The 76ers are 24-20, and when they're healthy, they actually look pretty dangerous. Joel Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Oubre all on the floor together is a legitimate problem for opposing teams. But ownership is staring at that $7 million overage and making calculations that have nothing to do with wins and losses. And here's the thing that should give us hope. Most people around the league are wondering if Philadelphia is willing to part ways with Oubre precisely because his name keeps coming up as a possible trade chip. When you hear the same name repeatedly in these discussions, it usually means there's real substance behind it. This is where the Lakers need to be aggressive. This is where Rob Pelinka needs to make his move. We have assets that Philadelphia would want. We have the flexibility to structure a deal that gets them under the luxury tax while bringing us a player who addresses multiple needs. We're not talking about gutting our core. We're not talking about trading away our future. We're talking about a smart strategic addition that makes us better right now without sacrificing the foundation we've already built. Think about what Oubre brings to our specific situation. We run a lot of our offense through LeBron's playmaking. That means we need players who can space the floor and make quick decisions when the ball swings to them. Oubre has played with ball-dominant stars his entire career. He understands how to operate in that kind of system. He knows when to cut. He knows when to relocate for open shots. He knows when to attack a scrambling defense. Those instincts can't be taught. They come from years of experience playing winning basketball at the highest level. Let me break down some specific scenarios where Oubre would make a huge difference for us. In pick-and-roll situations with LeBron, defenses typically try to load up on the roll man or help aggressively if LeBron attacks downhill. With Oubre in the corner or on the wing shooting 38% from three, that help becomes far more dangerous for opposing teams. They have to respect that shot, which means LeBron gets cleaner driving lanes or easier passes to AD rolling to the basket. It's the kind of spacing dynamic that elevates everyone's game. In transition, which is where we want to play more consistently, Oubre's athleticism would be a massive weapon. He can run the floor hard, finish above the rim, and make quick decisions with the ball. LeBron is still one of the best transition playmakers in the league, but he needs athletes around him who can capitalize on the opportunities he creates. Oubre gives us that dimension. Defensively, this is where he could really make a difference for us. We've struggled at times this season when we face teams with multiple perimeter scoring threats. We've seen games where one elite wing gets going and we don't have enough versatility to throw different looks at them. Oubre can guard multiple positions. He can switch onto smaller guards without being a liability. He can hold his own against bigger forwards. That 1.2 steals per game tells you he's active, he's got good hands, He's disruptive in passing lanes. Those are the kinds of defensive plays that change momentum in playoff games. The Western Conference is loaded with elite wing scorers. Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker. We're going to face these guys in playoff series, and we need multiple bodies we can throw at them. Oubre gives us another legitimate option, another defensive weapon we can deploy based on matchups and game situations. That depth matters tremendously when you're playing 7-game series against the best teams in the league. The fit with our two stars is what really excites me. Anthony Davis needs shooters around him. When AD is dominating in the paint, when he's hitting that mid-range turnaround or establishing deep post position, defenses collapse on him. If we don't have shooters who can make them pay, they'll keep doing it. Oubre at 38% from three forces defenses to respect him. That creates more space for AD to work. That creates better driving lanes for LeBron. That creates a more dynamic offensive system where we're not predictable, where we can attack from multiple angles. And with LeBron specifically, having another veteran who doesn't need constant coaching or adjustment is huge. LeBron can trust a guy like Oubre to be in the right place. He can trust him to make the right read. He can trust him to knock down open shots when the defense commits to stopping him. That trust matters in April, May, and June. That trust is what separates good teams from championship teams. When you're in a close playoff game and the pressure is at its highest, you want players on the floor who have been there before, who understand what it takes, who won't freeze in the moment. Let me address something I know people will bring up. Oubre is 30 years old. He's not some young prospect with unlimited upside, but that's actually a positive for us right now. We don't need upside, we need production. We need someone who's already developed, already understands their role, already proven they can contribute to winning basketball. 30 years old for a wing who takes care of his body and doesn't rely purely on athleticism is right in his prime. He's having the best shooting season of his career, which suggests he's still improving parts of his game. The timing couldn't be better. The financial framework of a potential deal makes too much sense to ignore. Philadelphia needs to shed salary. They're motivated. They can't just hold on to everyone and pay the tax bill because their ownership has shown repeatedly they won't do that. The Lakers have contracts we can use to match salary. We have draft picks we could include to sweeten the deal. We have young players who could provide depth for Philadelphia's bench. The pieces are there to construct something that works for both sides. What would Philadelphia want in return? They need the incoming salary to be significantly less than Oubre's contract to achieve their goal of getting under the tax. They'd probably want some kind of draft compensation, maybe a protected first-round pick or multiple second-rounders. They might want a younger player with potential who could develop into a rotation piece down the line. All of those are things the Lakers can provide without sacrificing what makes us dangerous right now. We're not talking about trading away key rotation players. We're talking about using assets strategically to upgrade our roster. I want to paint a picture of what our rotation could look like with this addition. Imagine closing games with LeBron, AD, Oubre, and our best perimeter defenders and shooters. Imagine the versatility that lineup would have defensively, with multiple players capable of switching across positions. Imagine the spacing it would create offensively, with legitimate threats at every position. Imagine trying to game plan against that as an opposing coach. Where do you help from? Who do you leave open? Do you double LeBron and give up open threes? Do you play straight up and let him cook? Those are the kinds of problems championship teams create for their opponents. Think about what that means in a playoff series against Denver. The Nuggets have been our nemesis in recent years. They've got Nikola Jokic orchestrating everything, Jamal Murray hitting big shots, and role players who know their system perfectly. We need every advantage we can get against them. Oubre's defense on Murray or Michael Porter Jr. could be critical. His shooting to space the floor for our stars could be the difference in close games. His experience in big moments could provide the steadiness we need when things get tight. The Western Conference is absolutely loaded this season. Denver has Jokic playing at an MVP level again. Phoenix has their big three when healthy, and they're always dangerous in a 7-game series. The Clippers are always a threat with their talent and depth. Minnesota is young, athletic, and hungry with Anthony Edwards leading the way. We need every advantage we can get. Adding a player like Oubre without giving up core pieces would be a significant advantage. It would show the rest of the conference that we're serious. It would show our locker room that management is committed to winning now, that we're not just running it back and hoping for the best. Let's talk about the championship window. LeBron won't play forever. We don't know how many more seasons we'll have him at this level. Every year we don't maximize this opportunity is a year we can't get back. This isn't about building for 5 years from now. This is about putting ourselves in the best position to win a championship this June. Kelly Oubre Jr. helps us do that. The shooting helps, the defense helps, the experience helps. Everything about this fit makes sense from every angle you examine it. I've watched every Lakers game this season. I've analyzed every lineup combination. I've studied every possession in close games. We're close. We're really close to being a legitimate championship contender. But we need one more piece. We need that versatile wing who can do a little bit of everything without needing to dominate the ball. We need someone who can guard, shoot, and fit seamlessly into what we're already doing. Kelly Oubre Jr. is that player, and the circumstances that could make him available are lining up perfectly. The opportunity is right there. Philadelphia's financial situation creates the opening. Our need for exactly what Oubre provides creates the motivation. When you have that kind of alignment, when the circumstances line up so perfectly, you have to act, you have to be aggressive. You have to make the call and get the deal done. I believe Rob Pelinka sees this. I believe he's already exploring what it would take, and I believe this could happen before the deadline if we push hard enough. Now I'm going to be straight with you. There are other teams around the league who could be interested if Oubre becomes available. We're not the only contender looking for wing help, but we have advantages. We have the Lakers brand. We have the chance to play with LeBron and AD. We have the Los Angeles market. Those things matter to players. And if Philadelphia is motivated to move him for financial reasons, they're going to take the best package they can get. We can put together that package. Let's talk about this as a community of Lakers fans who all want the same thing: another championship banner hanging in crypto. Arena. If you want to stay updated on every development leading up to the trade deadline, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report and turn on notifications because things are about to move fast. I'll be here breaking down every report, every angle, every possibility that could impact our season. This is when championships are built. This is when front offices separate themselves. Don't miss a single update as we track this story and every other move that could affect our Lakers. Let's make it happen. Let's bring Kelly Oubre Jr. to Los Angeles. Let's add the piece that puts us over the top. Lakers Nation, it's championship time and we're closer than you think. I'll see you in the next one.